Hello guys, and welcome to a new Star Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 4 versus 4 on Gora Kalwaria. I'm going to be using the first Pancerna with the balanced deployment type on the allied side. I wanted to bring you guys a video of the first Pancerna, and this replay was a good chance to do so. And that's because the latest patch, which came out last week, really changed some things about the first Pancerna that has buffed them a little bit, in my opinion. So the first change that they made was that they made the Cromwell 5s faster again, back up to 63 kilometers per hour off-road, which makes them really speedy boys, and they are fantastic for flanking enemy tanks. They increased the amount of Crusader AAs that you can get in Phase A, so you are better off in the AA tab as well now in the first Pancerna. And then the other thing that they did with the first Pancerna was they adjusted the infantry squads. So the Sappergé, they used to have two types of them. They used to have the Sappergé with the TNT and a Piat, and they used to have a Sappergé with a flamethrower. And what they've done is they've separated them. So one's just now a Sappergé unit with rifles, a Bren, the Piat, and then a TNT. And then they have another one that's now called the Ingénierie, which have the flamethrower. And then they have like Sten's rifles, so they're more like specialized for close combat. It's interesting, and it definitely makes a distinction between the two types, and it kind of forces one more into a close range role and one into sort of an all-round role, which I think is nice because they're both 12-man squads, so they're really chunky, and with extra veterancy they can be quite efficient, and efficient infantry is really what the first Pancerna need because they don't really have anything, well, they don't really have much availability of infantry. They've got limited slots. Anyway, let's have a quick look at what I'm getting down here at the start as it gets underway. We've got the Cromwells here. I'm going to be using lots of Cromwells. In this first Pancerna deck, I have 2 cards of 2-star Cromwells, so I only need this one Sherman nearby, and they're all 3-star veterancy. So they're going to be zooming off the mark. I've got Bofors with me at the start. I still think the Bofors are generally better than the Crusader AAs, but the Crusader AA is a nice choice if you want a little bit of ground support as well. I've got some Streltsy and the Ingénierie heading over to the left with the Sappergé leader. Then we've got the 3 Vicars and 2 Ingénierie heading into these tree lines. The reason for that is because even though these are close range infantry, generally if they is fast transports on the opposing side here, they can zoom down here and get into the top sides of these trees, so I was trying to avoid that and just kind of set up a base of operations so I could use my Cromwell as well at the start of the game. Got a Streltsy going to be covering off this flag, and then I've got the Dragoni and the Ingénierie covering off the right-hand town here. This was a very light deployment on the right-hand side, very risky because you can often get rushed down here as well. Thankfully, didn't matter too much, as we can see that Inky here is going to be my opponent, and he's brought in a Tiger on the left hand side, and he's already pushed a Panzergren into this building, so we know quite well that he's probably got the majority of his troops on this left side, which suits me well. It's just my Cromwells aren't going to really be able to do much in the open against the Tiger, so what I decide to do is move them to the light cover on the left hand side, and I'm going to try and push them up here instead, with the Sherman obviously joining them to provide the extra veterancy. So the Ingénierie are going to be holding back here and just get them out of there as quickly as possible. This one I unloaded as well. I'm going to be providing a little bit of support with the Bren, although one Bren on its own is not really that useful. The main benefit of a Bren in this situation, particularly in the Ingénierie where they have the Lifeboy flamethrower, is that it is a machine gun, or well, technically an automatic rifle, that can fire within 100-meter range, so it helps you pin down enemy troops faster at close range. It's not so good for providing fire support at longer ranges. Anyway, both of the Vicars that were firing away do get picked off. The Aufkradar Panzer 38T is putting on pressure here, which is a little bit annoying because I just moved all of my tanks over to the left. And I'm going to be joining that with a Cromwell 4. Cromwell 4 has also got the speed buff. And now I'm going to be trying to push up through the light cover here. And you can see I'm adjusting the orders to make sure that they go through the light cover. If I just right click up here, they're going to take the fastest route, which is actually to go round the heavy cover there. OAC is going to be coming in with a couple of P2 bombers for me at the start here. And he's going to be dropping the bombs onto the MG42, which is going to be helpful. And then I've got a Cromwell 5 coming up that will hopefully deal with the Aufklärer Panzer 38T, and I've also got a 17-pounder that's going to be moving through the cover to try and kill the Tiger. Now, I wasn't sure at this point if this half-track had any like troops in it. Probably could have like zoomed in to have a look, but at the time I didn't. So I was kind of just counting on that being a half-track that is pushing forwards to get kind of ground over this flag and kind of hide it from anything that I bring up the road. But then obviously I see briefly that they unload, and then I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks for my 17-pounder, doesn't it? Because now I can't really push it up to the edge of the tree line. So instead what I'm going to have to do is bring across my engineers here to try and kill them off, and I'm moving my 17-pounder back away from that so that we don't end up losing it unnecessarily. The main thing is just getting the Cromwell to kill the Aufklärer Panzer 38T. I'm pushing up here the half-track with the Cromwell is going to be starting to engage the MG42, although it gets a shot onto the half-track first there. I'm going to get a shot onto this half-track as well. And this is where Inky is going to find all of my Cromwells on the left-hand side. Cromwell does clean out the Aufklärer Panzer 38T. Indonesia unfortunately going down because the MG42 just slicing and dicing as always. The Tiger, that's pretty close, and I managed to get a transmission damage, and you know what that means? It means charge. So I'm going to go for it. We're zooming down the road. I'm giving him fast move orders. Unfortunately, one of my Cromwells gets gun jammed, but we get the surrender onto the MG. Managed to get the Marder dead, because that's why I stopped. It's basically to kill the Marder, and then meanwhile the Cromwells going round the outside to shoot it in the rear. Thankfully the Tiger shot the one that was gun jammed, not the ones that weren't. So we managed to get away with that. I also take out the Aufklärer Panzer 38T there, so things works out really, really nicely. In this tree line, my Cromwell 4 helped clean up the infantry that were causing issues, but overall, really, really good. Cromwell's going to be engaging the Marder 3 with the 3 vet. Hoping that the Sherman can hit it as well, because I don't want to lose the Sherman if I can help it. Do manage to kill the Marder just before it gets the Sherman 3 down. But meanwhile on the left, the Sturmgruppe going to be pretty scary in the light cover because they have MP44s, so they can definitely slice up the Streltsy quite nicely. And also they've been buffed recently, they got reduced in price. But with everything dead, I'm just going to be zooming my Cromwells into position, out of line of sight of the Tiger. That was the whole idea here right now. I do know there's an Aufklärer Panzer 38T here, so the Cromwell is going to be helping take that out as well. I did lose my 2-inch mortar carrier here. This could have been really, really useful for taking care of the AT gun that was here. Unfortunately, losing that made things a bit more difficult, and it forced me to bring in the Hurricanes. So I'm going to be bringing in these Hurricanes to rocket that AT gun just to get rid of that, and then I'm in a really, really good position. We just broke through entirely on that left side really, really fast, which is really cool. Now I tried to split the rockets at the last minute there because both of them ended up targeting the same unit, but with the front line moving, I'm going to be moving the Cromwell close around the right hand side just to see if we can pick up any surrenders. And this is what's really nice about these Cromwells, they just move so fast off-road now. You can make these sort of maneuvers. Streltsy going to be finishing off the Sturmgruppe. And there's going to be 2 more units on the left. We've also got the Tiger here, looking for the Cromwell 4 side shot into the Tiger, but unfortunately didn't find it. And it's just a balancing act right now, because these Marders putting pressure on the left is not good for me, since I don't have like an AT gun here, I don't have any Piats, so I can't punish the Marder 3s being that far up. I do of course have the 17-pounder that is slowly but surely moving its way forwards. I've got some Streltsy that are going to be helping to secure this against infantry. On the right, I think you're going to be trying to put a little bit of pressure on with the Aufklärer Panzer 38T here. But I'm kind of just waiting for him to make a move here, so that I can clear out the martyrs and then ambush the Tiger. Those martyrs are getting very close. They're trying to get into the light cover to take care of the Cromwell 4. They're going to get one shot off. Meanwhile, H129 does kill off one of my Cromwells, which was probably scouted from the right-hand side by some recon. So what I'm going to do is forces me to engage the martyrs with these units from the cover here. So take out one, looking for the kill onto the second. And meanwhile, this Cromwell ambushes the Tiger E and gets a crew kill in the first shot. This was really lucky. Like, the one-shot crew kill was so nice. Unfortunately, this Pak 41 Gerlich, pretty nasty piece of work. So that's going to track break my Cromwell 5 here, and I'm going to try and use this Cromwell 5 to fire at the Pak 41 while I can. Tiger goes down anyway, and we kill both the martyrs, so we're still in a really, really good spot. But Cromwell finally dies, and the Pak 41 Gerlich here is going to be a pain in my ass for a little while. Another Aufklärer Panzer 38T down on the left-hand side, and the Panzer Grenadiers are going to be left out in the open now. He would have brought them in, assuming that he'd cleaned out this light cover, but not going to let him in there. And the veterancy on these Cromwells really, really paying off in these sort of situations, because it makes them a little bit more accurate with those HE shells, and then they're just landing almost every single one, and it takes out the Panzergrens very, very quickly. Another Aufklärer Panzer 38T going down. 6-pounder is going to clean up the half track there. Sturmgruppe at close range here, definitely going to be doing a decent job against these Streltsy over time. So I'm going to be forced to bring in a Hurricane to help us out there. Meanwhile over here, Streltsy taking some damage. My Cromwell wasn't quite in line of sight there, so not able to take that out just yet. Yeah, really just looking for the rockets here on target. Even if I just pin it down, my Streltsy can run in there and avenge the ones we just lost. The Streltsy, they're going to do a runner. Cromwell finishes the job on the Aufklärer Panzer 38T. Another Tiger is approaching, another contender. Of course, I'm not really going to be moving out into the open anytime soon. His best bet would probably be to like try and bomb or arty this and pin them down so they move out and then kill them with the Tiger. But in the meantime, I do bring in a Mosquito. A Mosquito going to be there for the bombing strike onto the Panzergrens that were holding that flag. Gotta love a Mosquito. It's actually a beautiful aircraft. Yeah, I knew that they were there from before, so just got rid of them, which gave me that flag. And I'm holding this flag as well. And as a team, we're doing okay. We did manage to get influence over this flag as well. And on the right-hand side, they're currently holding those two flags. So it's 20-12. We got off to a very, very good start. Another engagement with the Sturmgruppe here, so more Hurricanes on the way. We've got the Hurricane here with the... These have the 8 150mm rockets. Quite chunky rockets. Definitely good for killing infantry and also support weapons. Fortunately for me, the Streltsy die just before the Hurricane lands the strike. But here comes Kargarat. This is the 600mm Kargarat. This has also been buffed. There's a lot of changes. We've got all of the divisions in this game that were buffed or changed. We've got the Großdeutschland, we've got the Hermann Göring, the Kargarat got its damage and blast doubled. So it's pretty crazy. Anyway, Pak 41 Gerlich going to be able to pick off another Cromwell here. I managed to get a transmission destroy on that one, which means that's going to also go down to the Gerlich. This thing was just doing so much damage. Anyway, 17-pounder on the left. Going to be able to get a decent amount of damage done onto the Tiger here. You see Kargarat goes off and wipes out my infantry nearby. 17 pounder managed to snipe the Afghan Panzer 38T, so that was great. But yeah, I was just kind of hoping that my 17 pounder could finish the job, and it does, with 2 health remaining. Now this one's going to be firing at the next Tiger, so we do have those Tigers countered for the time being. If I only had 1 AT gun here, it would have been a problem, but since I've got 2, it's not too bad, and I do get the pen in there as well. And then the kill. So Dragoni coming up, we got the Streltsy. My Cromwell 4 is going to be trying to hold the line in the meantime, and I've also got the Cromwells on the right hand side that are firing across. So we are dealing with this infantry quite well. You can see that even with the changes to the Polish infantry, they're still not fantastic, you know. I think the engineers are actually okay at close range, particularly with a lot of veterancy. But the normal Sapogé have like Lee Enfields, so not really going to be doing that much damage. And these Streltsy squads, they're kind of like semi-close range squads because they got the double SMG. We're going to be just surrendering that last Sturmgruppe, and then the Gerlich, they're going to take out my transport. But again, we're still in a really good position. I've actually ended up capturing this flag as well because my engineers managed to get really far up. I'm just kind of poking my way around with the Cromwells right now. These Cromwell 4s with the recon capability are really nice. Anyway, since that Pack 41 was causing me problems, I thought I'd commit a Hurricane Mark II to kill it. So we have that coming in again. Nice rocket strike there, definitely gonna finish that off for us. Another Tiger on the way. And yeah, just trying to get these into positions where he can kill off the Cromwells. But unfortunately, he just doesn't really have much of a chance to get close. Or like, because when he does, I'm going to end up trying to flank him again. And I've got the 17 pounders in position now as well. Okay, Mosquito is going to be coming in with the bombing strikes onto the tree line here. The Tiger was getting line of sight onto my Cromwells, so move the Cromwells back. 2 of those bombing strikes go off. The other one I'm going to want to come round for another go since it lost its well, I changed its order at the last minute, so it lost its like direction. Now this Tiger is a little bit of a problem for my Cromwells. It could just like roll round here and kill both of them. So what I'm going to try and do is get close instead. I'm going to use the corner of the heavy cover to get as close as I can before we engage it. So let's watch these Cromwell 4s go. There's the Tiger. We're going to hit it with some rockets as well. I get a shot in the front arm. He's going to try and retreat it. And I'm going to send one both sides. And this is where the speed is really helpful. There we go, and the last side shot gets the job done. Absolutely awesome maneuver. Since he was moving while he was trying to fire, the first shot just didn't land. I think in that situation he would have been better off kind of standing his ground initially. And my hero swiftly dies afterwards though to the Sturmgruppe, but that was actually kind of sad. I'm not wanting to go too far to the left, because I'm not really sure what's there, so yeah. I'm just trying to micro around. I see that the Sturmgruppe are trying to get close enough to me. So I was planning to get the turret turned around so I could use my machine gun, but because I keep constantly losing line of sight, the turret turns back to the front. It just wasn't really working out in the end. So I just decided to run the gauntlet, zoom out of there on the main road. Dragoni managed to take out the Panzergrenadier on the right hand side. My engineers get overrun further up. But yeah, some really fun plays against these Tigers throughout. Particularly like this one at the start, just like rushing that. And then we managed to get the 2v1 on this side, which was absolutely spectacular. It's just really, really fun. The Dragoni gonna struggle against the full strength Sturmgruppe. And they do get taken out. I'm a little bit light here, so gonna be rushing in some infantry reinforcements, but only 4 minutes left on the clock. And since we have moved into Phase B, at least it's been Phase B for a while, I'm gonna be bringing up my off map. We've got these Sherman 5s with the 140mm off map, and that's going to allow me to get this back under my control. My 17-pounder also managed to snipe a Mobilwagen in the meantime, which is really nice, and I'm going to be pushing it out into the open to try and find a shot onto this mortar half-track, which is even further back than I was pointing out. And I managed to get that kill as well, so that was beautiful. Now trying to take out the Tiger. Managed to hit the first shot, so that was really good. Looking for the second shot as well. Fortunately, both bounce, which means 17-pounder goes down. Mortar fire is coming in for this 17-pounder, but I just managed to kill the Tiger in time. And with that dead, it's time for the Cromwells to move forwards even more. Just rushing them forwards. This time though, Pak 41 Gerlich on the left instead. Going to be taking out my Cromwell 4. Since I'm now blind on this right hand side here, it's not ideal, so I can't really keep going. I do have the recon on the left, this 2-man recon squad, but it wasn't really enough to make me sure that I could move my Cromwell aggressively, like I probably could have. Anyway, Hurricane coming in for the rocket strike onto the Pak 41 Gerlich. Try and get rid of that. Does do the job nicely. Those are generally quite reliable at taking out support weapons. Sometimes they'll leave it on 1 health, but most of the time they'll get the kill. Anyway, Inky going to be making a little play here. He's rushing my 17-pounder with motorcycles. This is like an absolute Chad move. But you can see my 17-pounder in the distance there. And he's going to be bringing his motorcycles in to try and basically run it down. There was smoke on top of it, so it does give me a little bit of cover. I'm meanwhile chasing those with my half-track. But he's getting shots on target slowly but surely. My Cromwell 5 and my Sherman 3 also trying to get over here, but I make the mistake of moving my half-track too close, so it couldn't keep firing at the BMWs. And with the last burst there, they killed the 17-pounder. Absolute Chad move from Inky. Very nicely done. Anyway, we're still in a very good position, and this game was just really, really fun to play. Like, using all these Cromwells was so much fun. And I think at this point I had brought in pretty much all of the Cromwells. And I was, from now on, I would have to rely on like Fireflies and Shermans if I wanted to kind of continue the push, which obviously aren't bad units, but the Cromwells for 50 points, having this extra speed, makes them really, really good value for money, and they're really fun to use, particularly since they have decent availability with high veterancy. I managed to get the strike on the left here. Well, actually, I think that was OOC with the PE2. Takes out the mortar half-track. I'm just not sure why it popped up as my kill. Unfortunately, this Cromwell, bumps into some Panthers, so, things not going to go too great against that. Also, Grind has brought in a Jagdpanzer to help out, but it's already too late. If the game were to continue at this point, I would have to get in some Fireflies and we'd go from there. Because you can see I'm pretty thin on the ground, honestly. Other than like the off-map support that can definitely help on the right, I'm actually pretty thin here. Had the Mosquitoes coming in, but that's going to be game. 21 minutes, 40 seconds, and what a blast that was. It was like one of the funnest games with the first Pancerna that I've had in a very long time. So 2,465 kills to 1,295 losses in the end. Unfortunately, Inky there losing quite a lot of those Tigers throughout, but it was really fun to like move forwards and flank them, and you got some like proper fury moments going there. It was great stuff. So the Cromwell 5s going absolutely nuts. Like we got the Marder 3 kill, we got the 81mm kill there. There's going to be a Marder 3. We got all the Aufklärer Panzer 38Ts were getting cleaned up. The Tigers getting like side shot and stuff was really, really good. The Cromwell 4s that were coming in and supporting the pushes were vital for the recon information, and then the Sherman obviously providing the veterancy was also important for the 3-star. That was nice. The Hurricanes were really good support, and since I was putting so much pressure on him, he probably couldn't really afford much AA at the start. So the Hurricanes managed to get multiple runs in, which worked really, really nicely. The 17-pounders, of course, cleaning up multiple Tigers as well. Getting that Mobilwagen snipe was actually quite important for me to be able to continue to use the Hurricanes. I probably wouldn't have been able to kill the Gerlich, the original Gerlich, if that hadn't have died, because the Hurricane probably would have got forced back before it dropped its payload. But yeah, overall, a super fun game, a quick game, but shows off the power of the speedy Cromwells now. Yeah, I would recommend giving this a go. It's great fun. It really is. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.